So every year we do this video where we recount our RMA counts and turnaround times. This year we decided you guys deserve some more data, and this video is an effort towards that. Now, no custom PC integrator is ever going to share this data for various reasons which we don't care. But what we do care about is you making informed purchase decisions about whatever you're planning to buy. So, quick context before the interesting part. Now, this video is not made to call out any specific brand, saying ye brand acha nahi hai, wo bahut acha hai. This is not that. This is just us sharing consolidated data of a few years, trying to make sense of it, and possibly providing you deeper insight on what actually makes something fail, especially since this video is about RMA. Now, our intention is not to be the guy who's doing badnami on YouTube. There are already other YouTubers who do that. So here goes. So the source of data. So the source of data is two live Excel sheets. One, which is recording QA QC for every build that we ship out. The second one is a live service sheet, which also records every single service issue in the last 3 years. So this data is coming out from that. For context, we shipped close to 3,600 something PCs last year. The year before that, it was around 2,400-ish type systems. So in this list, we are excluding data from brands from which we have shipped lesser than 100 units, just in the interest of fairness. So yeah, and we have given necessary disclaimers where we know issues which have been fixed later or issues which we have raised and because of us got fixed. So indirectly, we're kind of helping you guys as well. So yeah, keep watching. Now the table is on your screen. It actually shows our system shipped for the last 3 years. Also shows the number of service tickets that required hardware replacement. You will notice an amazing thing, and we have something which we're proud of actually. You will see the part replacement rate is going down in the last 3 years. Awesome, isn't it? Let me tell you how we did that. Now, when we sift through the data, depending on location first, we start realizing that cities with higher humidity end up showing higher RMA rates. And then we cross-check this again, and then we did some research on this again, and it perfectly makes sense. If you're on a beach sitting with your 5090 system, you are more likely to run into issues because of humidity. Yeah, it's true. Nobody tells you this except us. So let's dive into component-wise RMA rates and TAT, turnaround times via brand. Okay, let's begin. Now the processor one is actually the easiest because there are only two brands that do it. So we have the 2-year combined data of Intel and AMD on your screen. You'll see that 1.84% on Intel and about 0.79% on AMD, and these numbers are significantly large. Now the median time for both of them to replace your processor is around 8 days, which is amazing. Just quick note on how Intel does this better. Intel actually gives an advanced replacement first off. They don't ask you for data, screenshots and other stuff. They just say, hey, tera processor kharab ho gaya, le jao. And before the 7th day is done, as far as my memory recollects, you got a replacement in your mail. So yeah, kudos to Intel for having the most proactive, pro-customer RMA policy ever. Another quick note on Intel is 14900K had a lot of issues. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, it did cost Intel a bit of their reputation as well. After the BIOS fixes, largely the problems were resolved, but hey, BIOS fixes don't really reach every system in the field. They just don't. Some people are not bothered. Some people are not aware of they need to update their BIOS to make sure nothing goes wrong. So yeah, they had abnormal RMA rates last year, and this was also reflected in the video last year where we actually called this out as well. So hey, kudos to Intel, I guess. Next up, we have GPU. Now, I'm not going to talk about every single GPU brand, but you can see the RMA rates hover between 3% to absolute 0%. The big call out that I need to do here is NVIDIA. Now, what we're writing as NVIDIA are the Pro Series GPUs. Is the RTX 6000, RTX 6000 ADA, it's the H200s that we ship out, the server class and data center class workstation, high-end workstation class GPUs. They almost never ever fail. In the last 3 years, we have just one failure. It's showing 0 because we are combining 2 years worth of data. Yeah. Another reason to combine 2 years of data is we might only have RMA on something we shipped out previous year in this year. So hey, we kind of need to combine this data to help it make sense. Now moving on to motherboard. One amazing disclaimer that you guys need to understand. When we talk about motherboard failures, it's not the motherboard that fails itself. It also has something to do with the power supply you use. Because hey, all the power from the power supply actually goes to your board first and then goes to the other components. The only exception to this is GPU, where it also connects directly. Otherwise, everything is kind of powered by your motherboard. So yeah, motherboard failures should be read in conjunction with the power supply failures also. So clean power is actually a huge issue. We went through our data and what we realized is around 60% of motherboard failures are in places where they don't have good spike guards, have connected their PC directly to the main socket, or absolutely never thought of having a UPS. See, on the motherboard side of things, we have an RMA rate of 1.2 to 0.9%. So largely all brands are doing okay. But the turnaround time is where this differs. Now, MSI turnaround time for us, median turnaround time has been 8 days, ASUS 14 days. It's on the higher side, don't like it, should be 7 days. Same thing goes for Gigabyte, it's on 13 days. So yeah, on the table you can see average and median and the max delay that has ever happened. It depends on case to case basis, it depends on shipments coming in or not coming in, but that's the RMA rates. Now, just to illustrate why we don't like to include data where the sample size is low. You see, ASRock, we shipped close to 55 boards and 4 of them failed. That works out to be a percentage of 7.2%. On its own, if I just tell you ASRock has a 7.2% RMA rate, you'd be like, bro, what the hell? ASRock is a bad brand. But hey, it's only 55 numbers. So can't really take a call, right? So that's why we tend to favor data with larger number of shipments that go out. It just makes more sense. Now moving on to RAM, the table is on your screen. Nothing much to say apart from the fact that why our methodology is better. If you check out A data, and it's 24 units shipped with 2 replacements done, but you see the turnaround time. Now to actually average out turnaround time over just 2 RMA cases is also kind of unfair to the brand, right? Especially when you've not shipped so many systems. So the real turnaround time that we should be seeing is G-Skill has a 7-day turnaround time. Corsair has a 14-day turnaround time. I mean, Corsair, you can do better, bro. 7 days, bro. Let's push every single brand to 7 days. I think it makes a lot of sense. But that being said, RAM inherently has supremely low RMA rates. Supremely is like 0.5%. That's about it, 0.5%. But yeah, bro. One thing to note here is, if you would actually look, there are certain brands which do only ECC memory or server memory. You'll see that not even one has been RMA'd. What does that tell you? Like server class, high-end workstation class components actually never RMA. They just don't. They're just built like that. So yeah, spending extra money for these things makes total sense, especially when downtime is a big headache for you, right? So ऐसे ही नहीं लोग पैसे ज़्यादा दे रहे 6000 को BlackBerry के लिए, bro. So moving on to storage. I have one interesting data point for this, but before that, quick look at the table. You see that the percentages actually vary between 0.1, which is amazing on Samsung Spot, and up to 1% on Seagate, but a slightly higher percentage on A data. Now the question is, why does A data has a higher percentage rate? Great question. This is actually something I'm proud of. As a team, what we did was, we kind of dove into the data and found out there's one specific SKU on A data which keeps coming up in RMA again and again. That happened to be S70 Blade. And this is phased out exactly because of our feedback. What we realized that even the replacement units that were coming on S70 Blade were also faulty. And yeah, we have emails, we had the receipts. We actually sent this across to A data factory and they found out there's an issue on that specific SKU and it just got phased out or got replaced by 980 Legend, if I'm not mistaken here. So yeah, invisible way of helping you out part 2. Because storage inherently is something like RAM. It should be never be failing, especially the ones which are slightly premium. Ask you more money when you buy them. For example, Samsung, the Pro series and even the Evo series, in about 1000 units, we've just had one failure. Just one. And amazing turnaround times here as well, 3 and 5. 3 on Western Digital, 5 on Samsung. Pretty brilliant, yeah? Yeah. And the last category, which actually happens to be the most important one, it's your power supply unit. We made multiple videos about talking about how higher quality power supplies are worth every rupee that you spend. Absolutely yes. You shouldn't think twice before buying a high quality supply, and the data really supports it. Now, for the sample size that we have decent sample sizes in MSI, Corsair and Deepcool. We see that good quality power supply just retains their RMA rate at around 1%, which is standard for any electronic component in the world. It's pretty standard. And the turnaround times there as well, 4, 5, 2, brilliant. What more can you ask? This is another reason why we do not like to suggest newer brands. Because, hey, you don't really know, your power supply goes kaput, your system stops working. That is something you can't deal with. Like, okay, fair enough. Your SSD can fail, your system still works. Your RAM fails, move out one stick, use the single stick, still works. But what really doesn't work is your power supply failing altogether. Doesn't work at all. Now, Superflower has absolutely no RMA happening. They're actually really high quality supplies. Unfortunately, it's not distributed widely enough in India. I think Superflower ko lana chahiye kisi ko India mein, and yeah, more people should be buying Superflower. It's not bad at all. Superflower hasn't paid me for this, but yeah, if you see our video on this a year back, we said something similar there as well. And there's our favorite AIO and coolers. So typically what we've noticed is there's never ever any issue in air coolers because it's just a hunk of metal with fans attached, which are kind of heavy duty, high endurance fans. And there is AIOs, we kind of try to restrict ourselves to a few brands because we know the RMA rates are lower. Which brings me back to our earlier point where I said our part replacement rates have gone down drastically over the last 3 years. This is exactly why. I mean, there's a huge thanks to our entire team over here because we just don't build and ship. We are always trying to make your experience better, more seamless, without any issue. So when we're actually suggesting parts, we are sure of what you're going to expect, right? We know only 1 in 100 will fail only, or maybe 1 in 200 will fail. So we kind of filtering out the brands that we think will not be beneficial to the user. That's not to say other brands are not bad. Maybe we just haven't tried them enough. But hey, this is what we know from the data we have collected. So yeah, thank you for watching till the end. Final disclaimer for those watching, this is not to call out any brand. It's just to say that maybe a lot of us can do a lot better in how we deal with our customers. Turnaround time should be lower for everybody, but turnaround time is not always in the hands of the brand itself because their shipment might be coming 1 month late and you got your RMA right at the beginning of the shipment cycle and you're just stuck till that thing comes in. So yeah, हमेशा उसके हाथ में नहीं होता है, but for sure, if they have enough and more cases like that, they should probably do a better planning on how they do their RMA and so on. So hey, hope you like this video, share it with a friend or drop in your comments on what you think. So yeah, humble appeal to all brands, make it 7 days for everyone. Turnaround time is what matters more than RMA is our opinion. You actually want your downtime wala system to be uptime instantly, right? 7 दिन भी ज़्यादा होता है. Next step, maybe next year we push people to make it 3 days. So yeah, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Peace.